World Cinema Club.
So hi guys, welcome to another episode of Third World Cinema Club. I'm John Tawasil from Present Confusion.
I'm Princess Kinok of Film Police Reviews.
I am Jim Paranal of Jimmy Licolati ba pa?
Yes, and we're joined by Noel Vera.
Noel Vera. I write for Business World, contributing writer, and I have a blog, Critic After Dark at blogspot.com, and I had a book, 2005, Critic After Dark, Review Philippine Cinema. Yun lang.
Yeah.
Yay!
I guess so to start, could you tell us a bit about how you started out writing film criticism?
Wala. I walked into the newsroom in Manila Chronicle, and I talked to the editor, Celine Cristobal, and I dropped off an article. And then 2 weeks later, tinawag ko, did you print my article? And they said, we printed it like the day after you dropped it off. So I said, oh, okay. And then I said, do you want another one? And then, yeah, okay. So that's back in 1995. And then I moved to Business World, Manila Times for a while, then Business World. And I've been writing ever since. So 1995, what's that?
Uh,
25 years?
25 years ago.
25 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. Oh, matanda na ako. Aminin ko na.
Uh, all right. So, your blog is named Critic After Dark, and also your
Yes.
book. Yeah.
Mm.
It's named after the movie by Ishmael Bernal, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
It's a what do you call that? We had a discussion what to title the book.
Mm.
I was talking to the publishers, Philip Chea. He used to be the director of the Singapore International Film Festival. He wanted to publish my writings. And then we couldn't decide on a title. And then, of all people, the one who suggested the title was Alex Chiseco.
Mhm.
You remember him?
Alexis
Yeah, he
Chiseco.
said, I like I threw him some titles and he said, I like Critic After Dark. Kasi,
Mm.
yeah, in
Mhm.
1995, I'd been working for Far East Bank,
Mhm.
and then it became BPI, and I was assistant manager. And
Oh.
daytime, I'm a bank assistant manager, and nighttime, I watch movies and write.
Mm.
So, Critic After Dark. After Dark, my secret identity ako. And I changed my guys, and then, whatever. You know what I mean?
It sounds like Martin After Dark as well.
Parang ganyan. Sige na.
Martin Yue.
There you go, right?
I think all of us are like that. So
Mhm.
it's just really surprising to hear that from someone who's had the success of being able to write not just in newspapers but also on books. So
Mm.
yun. Like for example, John over here is a doctor. Jim is a researcher wherever you are. And then me, I'm all over the place. So but at night we write movies or we do this
Yeah.
podcast and stuff. So uh can you tell us what your influences are? Is it mostly Philippine cinema or can you talk about your influences?
Um, how I got hooked sa movies. My I saw Maynila sa mga kuko ng liwanag,
Mm.
1975. I was 10 years old.
Mm.
Yeah. And I saw the
Wow.
ending. And then, alam mo, nangyari kay Bembel Rocco. What happens to Bembel Rocco in the end? Yeah, I was 10 years old. Instant trauma. I think
Wow.
PTSD ever
Hmm.
since. So that's how I started.
Mhm.
And
Um,
yeah, I started writing, 1995, when I had an outlet when someone hired me. And yeah,
um, like back then in the mid 90s,
yeah.
how was the landscape of like movie reviews compared to what it is now,
Mhm.
you think?
Uh, well, there was Nestor Torre.
Yes, Nestor Torre. Mhm.
Is he still writing?
I think so. Right?
Okay.
Yes,
Choir or
still writing for Inquirer.
And then Inquirer had a few, Constantine Tejeros, and he was good. I followed him.
Mhm.
Um, and I forget his name. Inquirer also. Anyway, there were a few who were writing out there.
Mhm.
Isa Red, but he was also more showbiz, you
oh,
know.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Then after me, when I started, and then there was also the Urian, the what do you call that? The critics there, but I'm not sure if they were active. Joel David,
Mm-hmm.
uh, what do you call that? He was not regular, but he would write mostly scholarly articles.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
others here, Gino Dermiendo, of course, among others. Of course, there were others. I was not alone. And of course, others followed. Alexis Chiseco and Og Cruz. But that was
Yes.
from the 90s, 2000, mga ganyan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Og started around, well, he started his blog around 2006, 2007, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Wow.
Yes, that's
Lessons
So
right.
that
from
was
the
interesting.
Philippines.
Yeah.
But when I started, it felt like I was all alone out there. It was very
Okay.
lonely.
Oh.
And there's also this thing that we tend to there's a movement to preserve films, right? To
Yes.
restore films, something like that. But we don't hear the same thing about film criticism back in the day. I mean,
No.
how many people have been saving up movie reviews of old movies? I mean, that's also a way to access movies that have been lost to time or cannot be restored anymore.
No,
So
there's no thought of that at all. No.
yeah, the for of course back then, all critics, the main outlet for critics was publication like newspapers, things like that, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And but now, anyone with access to a computer or the internet, they can just like, you know, I know a lot of people who are posting movie reviews on social media like Facebook or Instagram. Um,
Even Twitter.
yeah, I mean, uh, di- did you expect this change to happen, or what were you thinking when you saw the rise of more like independent um, film review like people, or yeah, like
The, it's very strange. There's things we've lost and things we've gained. Now, if it comes to things we've lost, um, I've seen too many people passed away. Gino Dormiendo.
yeah.
Mhm.
I think he was a very sharp writer, and he had real integrity.
Oh.
Um, yeah, there was. I remember one point he had a gig with a certain TV network I will not name, where they told him that he had like these short mini reviews or interviews and so on and so forth, and then they told him not to say something bad about a certain film. Again, I will not name.
Oh.
Ah,
And
Mm.
he walked out and he convinced me to go with him. I said, okay,
Mhm.
fine. And afterwards, they offered, "Oh, what's the big deal? Let's come back and do another interview." And then he says no. And he told me, I'm hoping you're not thinking of going back. I said, no, no, of course not. So, yeah, we never went back. And I suppose, parang accidentally, I showed a little more integrity as well, kind of.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. But we lost people like that. And then there's the internet. It kind of starved the publishing industry. So I was following like how like you've heard of the Village Voice
Yeah.
Yeah.
and how
Yes.
they gutted the the critics there, Elliot Stein, uh who else? Jonathan, not Rosenbaum, but he had to retire.
Yeah.
There's so many critics that had to retire because no one was interested in reading about them anymore. The long form criticism. Andrew Cyrus retired. Dave Kerr retired. They had to move on because those kind of the old style, Pauline Kael, Andrew Cyrus style criticism is gone. It's dying.
Mhm.
Yeah. On the other hand, there's you guys, and I've read some of your work, John
Oh, thank
and
you.
Jim, and I'm very impressed. I think it's very good stuff.
Yeah.
Particular, like John, your list. You have a list of best of 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, and number one is not Parasite.
Yeah.
It's something called Lisa and the Bluebird.
Yeah, it's a great film.
Yes,
I recommend it.
yes, and I saw it.
Mm.
Well, I don't agree, but
Ah,
that's what lists are for,
yeah, that,
right?
yeah,
You,
yeah,
you,
I
you
know.
gave me a way out there choice, and I thought that that's an interesting choice, and I think I understand why you chose it. I may not agree, but I think that's what these people, these voices are for. And we hear about films we've never heard of before, and we give them a chance, and we agree or disagree. It's up to us, but at
Yeah,
least we know. Now we know we have alternatives. So yeah,
that's one of that's one of the nice things about um, having a more diverse of range of voices talking about film, because
mhm.
the more people talking about film, the more like underappreciated or obscure films get exposure out there, and hopefully more people read about it and more people watch it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So thanks to you, I had a chance to look up Lisa and the Bluebird, and I do enjoy
Mhm.
it.
Thank you for reading, and I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
You
absolutely.
know
I
what,
like
Noel?
writing style. I'm sorry.
He's actually he was actually a part of Cinephiles when we were all active in that group, but he was just lurking around.
Yeah, I didn't type a lot. I just enjoyed reading the conversations.
Yeah.
That's like,
I
wow.
remember before we were like arguing with a lot of people who were like doing this and that. That's all of yung pala all the while he was already reading there.
He was a lurker, stalker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually thought you guys were friends. I thought you, Dodo Dayo, and John were all friends because he followed my blog before, and I was like, maybe he's a friend of them.
We've never met, and I've never met Dodo actually. I think.
Yeah. So Dodo's actually venturing into filmmaking already, which is I
Yeah,
think
I've seen Violator.
yeah. Have
Mhm.
you seen Violator?
It's one of my. I think it was one of my best films that year,
Oh,
Mm,
and probably one of my best of the decade.
oh,
yes. It's only available on iTunes, I
yeah,
think.
I
iTunes.
should put that fact online because for the longest time it's not available, and if it's available in some form or another,
Mm-hmm.
then I should put that fact. And I have a piece I wrote about it, and I should put that up too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but that's great. Finally, that's good news.
Yeah. Can I ask you something about Mario O'Hara? Because I noticed
Yeah,
um
of course.
whenever I whenever I would look for inspiration with writing before, I would always read your posts about Mario O'Hara.
Yikes.
So
Okay.
could you tell us about your past? Is it a fascination with Mario O'Hara or?
Sure. I'll tell you how the history of that.
Mm-hmm.
My brother, I have a twin brother. Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
He was in movies before I was. He was UP Mascom, member of the Mascom, and then he worked a bit for Lina Broca. He worked, I think, not Bernal, but Broca. He worked for Broca. He would recommend films to me, and one was Condemned. And I said, okay, I missed it. Then he said, Bagong Hari is a great film. I went to it and I said, wow, this is great. Um, and then ever since, I've been looking out for O'Hara's films. And then I actually met him in, there was a 1998, I think, a production of Faust
Mm.
in Tanghalan Pilipino. Is that Tanghalan Pilipino in Fort Santiago? They did production.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think
Well,
so
there was
as
a,
well.
he had the group that did production for Santiago, Faust, and he played Mephisto.
Mm.
Uh, then after that, I finally got to meet him and arrange an interview. I talked to him, and ever since, yeah, there's been like we used to talk to each other. I won't say I'm close, but I follow him.
Mm.
Mm.
I don't know if you don't mind if I explain my fascination with his work. It's
Sure.
basically,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Um, there are a lot of great filmmakers. Broca and Celso Castillo, Bernal,
Mm.
uh, O'Hara, Castillo, Gerardo de Leon, Silos, Conde. There's so many. Um, O'Hara's one of the few, you know, who seems to consistently know how to use the camera. From
Mm.
movie to movie, you can recognize the camera angle, the style he has. It's not obvious,
Mm.
but it's consistent.
Mm.
Also, the way he cuts is consistent, and that's even more rare.
Mm.
Okay. Um, the way he cuts is consistent among other people. There are only like, oh boy, Gerardo de Leon knows how to. Celso Ad Castillo knows how to cut. Ikoy Aguiluz, Mario Hara, very few, not a lot. See, it's his style is it's very distinct, and that's what I realize is something about him. Um, and beyond that, the something I believe I've just realized about Mario is something that he has in parallel with Orson Welles.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, People say Welles came from theater. He uses theater in Citizen Kane and Magnificent Ambersons and so forth. It's not just it. Welles came from radio.
Yeah.
See, a lot of
Yes.
people come from theater going to film, and you see it the way how they stage their movies, and it's very stagey. Uh, actors come in, actors walk out, that sort of thing. So the ones who are free from that theatrical staging influence, are people like Wells who came from radio because radio is very fluid. They use sound to bridge from one scene to another, from one image to another. O'Hara comes from radio.
Mm.
He came from theater also. He has theater roots. So does Broca. But O'Hara also came from radio. And I think he uses radio the same way that Orson Welles uses radio in his films, the way
Mm.
he uses sound and music to bridge from one image to another and from one scene to another. So
Mm.
it's not personality. I don't know him that well. I mean, I've talked to him a few times. Okay.
Mhm.
It's more the films. I think they're more cinematic than almost any Filipino film maker I know. Yan lang.
Hmm.
Okay. Sir Noel, what is your top 3 favorite Mario O'Hara film?
Like, you have to ask me today. I'll give you a title. If you ask me tomorrow, I have a different title. I really can't make up my mind. He's made bad films. He's made bad films. But even the bad films, there's something worth looking at. So you're asking me today, what's my favorite Mario Hara film? I'd tell you, Pangarap na Puso.
Ah,
Have you seen that? Yeah, yeah.
Haven't seen it.
You have not. It's very hard to find.
Yes.
I haven't seen it either. So, pangarap ng
I
puso.
have a I have a video copy, and it's subtitled in English because I did the subtitles. I translated it and did the subtitles.
Mhm.
But it's fading. It's a fading copy, so I don't know how long it's gonna last.
is it like
Um,
VHS
it's,
or beta? Betamax?
it was VHS. I asked
Oh,
someone to transfer it to VCD to DVD.
I see.
Mhm.
Basically, the story is about a young man and a young girl, right?
Yeah.
They grew up. She's from a rich family in the what's this sugar provinces? What are those?
Um,
Um,
in
the,
ano,
sugar
Bro,
sugar cane, like sugar cane.
yeah,
sugar.
Somewhere in Visayas yan eh. I forgot.
yeah, it's
Yes.
Visayas.
Yeah, in
Visayas.
Visayas, there's a lot of sugar milling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sugar
yeah.
Part.
can.
Okay. So rich girl, rich boy, poor boy, and in their childhood, they know something about the capre. You know that
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
man, all hair, big, giant, smells like urine, that kind, right? The capre, and he haunts their childhood. But there's
Ah,
also a political aspect. What do you call this? There's this, military raids, and then there's NPA out there. So and they link the Capre and the killers, the military and EJKs
Mhm.
in their heads. So there's like a confusion. So partly it's a war film, it's a love story, it's magic realism, my conting fantasy, my conting horror, it's celebration of Filipino poetry. Because you have the
ah,
poetry uh uh
Amado
Denise Gonzalez,
Hernandez.
which one?
Amado
Colantes.
Hernandez.
Amado Hernandez?
Mm-hmm. His poems.
Yes. And Colantes?
Ah, yeah. Florentino
Yes,
Colantes.
yes, yes.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The thing is, it's hard to find.
Yeah.
What's it? Lilia
Yes.
Contapa is in it.
Really.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Lilia Contapa is in it, and she's amazing. I met her when she was when Mario Hara was shooting Sisa,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and she's game. She's game, willing to do anything. She's amazing. She has a nude scene in the
oh,
film. Yeah, I know. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So she's game. She's willing and able to do anything. She dares everything.
Mm-hmm. I think I remembered your one of your reviews for Captive Virgins or mga bilanggong birhen.
For him,
Yes,
yes.
Because
that's a
like
very interesting film.
we all saw the restored version. Did we
I
Mhm.
all
have.
see it? Ayan, so yun. Ayun. So I think you compared it to I forgot which one, but ayun. So that one is an O'Hara that's good. I also like him as an actor.
hmm,
My favorite of all, of course, is Tinimbang Ka Ngunit
Tinimbang
Kulang.
ka.
kulang. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I really like him as an actor.
Uh, from what I know, and when I talk to his friends, the character of Bertha the Leper is him. He was writing himself. So the
Mm.
way Berto thinks and feels and acts, that's how O'Hara is in real life.
I see.
Oh.
Interesting.
I know.
Sir, well, sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead. Mm.
yeah, I know.
Uh,
Open secret. He was gay, but a lot of women in person had a crush with him. When actresses, names, but
Beautiful
um,
eyes.
yeah. My wife, when she was pregnant, she said, "Gusto kong dukutin yung mga mata mo." Nag-iibig eh, you know. And that was funny. He kept laughing about that. Um, anyway, but the thing is, he's kind in real life. And at the same time, here's the crazy thing that what's crazy about it is filmmaking wasn't his number one passion. It was acting
Oh,
and writing.
Mm.
Mm.
Number one, acting. So he had to act. He was acting radio, TV, stage. Stage was his first love above all. And filmmaking was like incidental.
hmm.
And he could walk away from it. That's the thing about Bilangong Birhen. Towards
Mhm.
the end, he walked away from the production. It was
Yes.
80, 90% finished. He walked away from it. It was
Mm-mm.
finished without.
Mm-mm.
That's an interesting film. I compared it to The Magnificent Ambersons, second
There.
film,
Yeah, yeah.
Orson Welles,
Yes.
at hindi natapos for some reason or another. Parang ganyan, hindi natapos rin yung Bilanggong Birhen, Captive Virgins. And if you look at it, it's like I've compared it to Oro Plata Mata,
Yes.
period film,
Mm.
comparable budget. It's a big budget as well, along with Oro Plata. Um, maybe you don't have your mga tuhog shots, those long shots, the ala Visconti from Oro Plata, but the way it's lit by Romy Vito,
Mm-mm.
and I talked to Romy Vito about how he achieved those shots. The way it's lit and the way it's angled. If you look at it, not as showy, but also as beautiful.
Tama.
And yeah.
Galing, no?
Oh,
What was
and
your
by the way,
question pala, Jim?
just one more thing, and then
Sure, sure.
let me. Armida
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
is, she's a very handsome woman, but
Mhm. Mhm.
she was at her most beautiful in that film.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Mhm.
The
I agree.
way O'Hara lit her, framed her, and it's more than that. There was an inner glow to her that time during that production. Like my kakaiba during that filming, and I know why, but I cannot say why. Yeah,
Ooh.
it's very different. Anyway,
Mhm.
Pero I like
yeah,
yung
next question.
yung parang may ilaw scene na she was talking to to
Alma.
Reno.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Mm. Tsaka I agree. Kasi usually she's portrayed as this very glamorosa, very matriarchal
Matriarchal. Mm.
air. But here you can see her frailty.
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm.
Like she had a love that's forbidden.
Mm-mm.
That's the story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gives her an inner glow. Kumbaga. You had the
Yes.
question. I'm sorry.
Jim,
Ah,
your question.
yes, Sir Noel. Kasi you posted one time in Instagram na if uh, if there's a film na you want to watch again or yung gusto mong i-rewatch, and that's Bulaklak sa City Jail.
Yeah.
And isa yun sa favorite kong film ni Mario O'Hara.
Mhm.
Aside, it was written by Luwalhati Bautista, na
Mhm.
Yes.
favorite ko ring author. So, what do you think about Bulaklak sa City Jail, since it's a women's picture and the setting is sa prison?
We showed that in Hong Kong,
Mhm.
and they loved it. It was a big hit with the Hong Kong audiences.
Mm.
It's pop 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 cinema. It's very commercial. May happy ending pa nga, right? At the same
Mhm.
time, working that I think it made money. It made a lot of money. Is that right? I believe
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
it made money. At the same time, there is a lot of art that goes into that film. It's probably one of his best ensemble films.
Yes.
Everyone there
Absolutely.
gives an amazing performance, right?
Yes.
Um, I asked him once his three favorite actresses. I think the three greatest actresses in Philippine cinema. He gave me three names. Nora Honor, of course, and
Yes.
Maricel Soriano, right?
Yeah.
And Mitch
Mhm.
Valdez.
Mhm.
Those three. So Mitch Valdez, yeah, is amazing in that film. Even Zenaida Modor was amazing in that film. Herman Moreno had what? Less than 1 minute in that film. And he made an amazing impression.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Perla Bautista, Celia Rodriguez, you name it.
Mhm.
Every one of them gave great performances.
Mm.
And actually, more the women than the men, of course.
Yeah.
Diba?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What else? I remember I was shocked because Luwalhati once told me that on Facebook, I've never met her.
Mhm.
She would be happy with the Bulaklak remake.
Oh.
And I said,
Oh.
no, aren't you happy with the film? And she said, yeah, she is, but she's okay with the remake.
Mm.
That's her opinion. What do I know?
Maybe
Kasi
to
I've read po
see
the
how it
novelization
is.
din. Ay, sorry. Go
Ay,
ahead.
sorry. Oo lang.
Ah, kasi I've read the novelization. May mga changes kasi dun sa book.
Yeah.
Ano bang
So,
nauna? Yung novel or yung
pero,
script?
yan. Nauna kasi yung script po.
So
Ah,
the script
Ah.
was first.
Then, the novelization follows.
Okay.
Mm.
Then, na-notice ko, may mga changes na siya dun sa novel. Kasi dun sa novel, hindi ko nabasa wala dun sa novel yung the scene in Manila Zoo.
I see. Jim, did they add the scene to the movie after? Like, or was it part of the script na iniba dun sa libro? I mean, which one was changed dun sa dalawa?
Yeah, yung sa Manila Zoo, kasi di ba it was the highlight of the film eh. For
Mm.
me, it was the
mm.
highlight of the film. Yung sa pagtakas ni Nora Honor in Manila Zoo. Doon kasi hindi siya sinama.
I see.
Ah, okay. So maybe that's
Mhm.
why Luwalhati wanted to create or to have a remake for it, no?
Maybe, yeah.
Baka
Yes.
she felt na hindi siya realistic.
Mm.
Mm.
May gorilla pa
Awesome.
nga eh,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oo nga.
So, or she didn't feel like she can. It's a very cinematic sequence, kumbaga.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's a chase scene through a zoo, and it's hard
Mm.
to do that on the printed page. That might be one reason why.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
The great
Pinaka
Tsaka,
nagustuhan
Maricel
ko din si
Soriano.
Gina Alahar eh, in Bulaklak sa City Jail.
Yeah.
Kasi kahit
mm.
supporting at maikli lang namatay agad yung character, pero for me, tumatak yung character ni Gina Alahar eh.
Mm. At saka ano kasi, si Nora kahit ano siya, kahit ganun yung, hindi siya yung natural na beauty eh, I mean, she's naturally beauty kasi kayong Manggi. Pero she's not the mestiza type. Pero she has that star appeal eh, na
Yeah.
people will be
Mm.
drawn to watch the film.
That special something.
Yeah, she has that special something, no?
Usually,
How about you, Zach?
mestiza, right?
Yeah, usually actually even nowadays where's the showbiz industry is still dominated by a lot of mestiza actresses. Not
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
lot of morena actresses out there.
Mhm.
and the thing is, no, Nora looks like the most representative of Filipinas.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of all of
Yes.
yes, because they're all either Pisay, may lahi. Siya talaga, she's different, no?
Yeah, very Morena, very typical. But another thing I noticed about Nora, she doesn't need dialogue.
Yeah.
I think
Even
she's a silent screen actress
mm,
Mm.
in sound era,
Mm.
you know. And really, the one of the few people who, if you notice, many of her best works, Tatlong Taon Walang Diyos, Bulaklak City Jail, Condemned, Bakit Bugaw ang Langit, they were all with Mario O.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. With Lino, there's what?
Bona.
Inaka ng Kapatid Mo, and Bona is
Anak ko
probably one of the best.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Bona.
With Bernal, it's Ikaw Ay Akin, and
Yes.
Himala
Himala.
would be one of the best. Yeah. So you got 4, 5, maybe 6 with Mario O. Parang and this is a theory I always had that parang sympathetic silang dalawa because Nora in real life, or what I hear, I never met her, was very reserved, very shy. And Mario O in real life is very shy, very reserved.
Mm.
So parang ano, they're sympathetic spirits, kumbaga.
Mm.
And he realized most of all na Nora just cut her dialogue, just do close-ups. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all. Just keep her on the screen as long as you can. That's how Mario treats Nora. Uh, 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 yeah, some others they'll have yung mga screaming fits, mga crying jags, mga OA na acting, whatever. And Nora will do that. She's game, but it's not her best. Her best is inaapi siya. She's being oppressed. She's quiet in one corner, and she's staring at you with those eyes.
Yes.
Yung mga mata na yan. Yeah. They stare at the camera and they're like boring a hole in the lens.
Mm-mm.
Kumbaga. Right?
Correct, correct.
What do you
So,
think, Jim?
okay.
Sir Noel. Go ahead, sorry.
Go.
Jim, go.
Sir Noel, you mentioned na rin naman na yung collaboration nila Mario O'Hara and Nora Honor. So, I believe that's your favorite collaboration.
Yeah, no, it was cinema. You name Max von Sydow and Ingmar Bergman. You name Mifune and Kurosawa.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese. Mario O'Hara and Nora Honor. Absolutely. It's up there. And Honor, not Meryl Streep. I don't think Meryl Streep is in her league. No, we're talking Setsuko Hara.
Yeah.
We're talking Roman Open City. What's her name? Anna Magnani.
Yeah.
Ano mag
Yeah. We're talking Ingrid Bergman, not Ingrid Bergman in Hitchcock, even, which is very good, but Ingrid Bergman in her Roberta Rossellini phase. Europa
Yes.
Fun. Yeah. Stromboli, that kind of Ingrid Bergman. That's the kind of we're talking Falconetti in Passion of Joan of Arc. That's her lead. Okay.
I
That's
agree.
my opinion.
So guys, any more questions before we move on to the next part of our thingy?
For you three na lang. Kasi ako,
Okay.
dati, I wanted to write more about Hitchcock. So I had to stop. But
Mm-hmm.
for you three, if you guys are gonna champion a film or maybe a filmmaker or an actor, what would it, or who and what would it be?
Like from Hitchcock or like any
Anyone. Like for example, Noel, are you saying, or is it correct that you're championing Mario O'Hara's films better than any other filmmakers?
Does it-
Ganon? Or
O'Hara's done bad films, I've said before, and
yeah.
maybe 3 or 4 are truly great. Yeah, I'm championing him.
So
I've
how
also
how about
discovered. Yeah, sorry, what's that?
no, no, go ahead.
I'm also discovering Lamberto Avellana's films. I think
Mm.
he is also
Mm.
Mhm,
amazing. Huh?
mhm,
Um, a lot of them are in LVN Studios, and just konting plug dito. Mike De Leon has put many of his films online in his Citizen Jake Vimeo website,
Yeah, yeah. I've heard, yeah.
mhm,
all for free. A lot of them with English subtitles, and they're
Mm.
very good. Anak Dalita, I rediscovered again. I didn't like it before. I think it's great. What's his name? Bajau, I think, is one of the greatest Filipino films ever made, and it's about the Muslim culture, and not
Yeah.
just Muslim culture, the itinerant or migrant seafaring Muslim culture.
Yeah, the Bajaus, they have houses on stilts.
Yes, and you
Yeah.
see that that's the opening scene. They congregate their boats. It's like a small town in the middle of nowhere in the
Yeah.
sea. You should see that absolutely. And Pag-asa is one of Mike De Leon's favorite Lamberto Avellana film, and it's a musical. You should check it out.
mhm.
It's funny. It has music. It's very entertaining, and in the end, it's also really surprisingly moving.
Mm.
Okay. How about you, John? What film or filmmaker are you have you championed so far?
Like does it have to be Filipino or
No, anyone would do.
from any country? Oh, that's a very hard um that's a very hard question to ask. What filmmaker? Um I'm I mean I like a lot of filmmakers. I actually my entry point into film appreciation was through Asian cinema. And uh hmm I can name any number of directors I like, probably including one who recently passed away, like Nobuhiko Obayashi, who directed Hausu, if you know him. Yeah, but
Yes.
I'm gonna say para maiba. Yeah, para maiba. I'd like to talk a bit about this is an Indian director.
Sabi ko na eh.
Yeah, his name is his name is P.A. Ranjith. Yeah,
Mhm.
he's relatively new. He makes Indian films in the Tamil language. So he's part of what you call Kollywood with a K. Ranjit
Ah,
is it's he made his debut in 2012, and his films always have very political overtones to them. Probably one of my favorite films of his is Kaala. It's a 2018 film um, starring Rajinikanth. If you know Tamil cinema or Tamil popular cinema, Rajinikanth is like their Fernando Po Jr. But like
mm,
there are people who worship this guy like a god, and his films in the past, his mass oriented films, they're about this Rajinikanth being this super invincible guy who's like he's like a Superman who tries to help the poor, to do good. But in Kaala, Ranjith kinda plays with that formula. I mean, it's still a mass entertainer, and Rajinikanth is still this very strong, this very very imposing figure. But this is one of the few contemporary films of Rajinikanth that portray him as an older person. He's not as invincible as his other screen personas, and it subverts that kind of mass thing to make a point about um, collective action, or like the power is not in any one person, it's in the people. And
mm.
that film ends with a really really nice sequence. Na it's color coded, and each of the colors stands for something. So like, um, spoiler alert, there's a lot of like colored powder being thrown about, and the three colors of that powder is, um, one of them is red, so that stands for Marx, and then one of them is blue, and then there's another color. One of them is for a nationalist movement, for the, like, all of the colors have meaning. So it's not just your, it's still a very pop cinema thing, a very popular cinema theme for Indian audiences, but uh, it's 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 very, you can, he wears his politics on his sleeve, or his cinematic sleeve. So if you, I think some of his movies are available either in Amazon Prime or on Netflix. So if you can catch them, yeah, give it a try.
Mhm.
Is it
Yes.
musical? Sorry.
Yeah, it's there are songs, but it's like, most Indian movies, they're like, dance numbers, but it's not as showy as what you could expect with, your normal. It's Indian cinema in general. It's kind of well, I want to say it's an acquired taste, but it's you have to sort of get into it to, but yeah, there are songs.
I love Indian cinema. It's just that mine stops. 1950s.
Yeah,
Raj Kapoor.
yeah, Raj Kapoor.
What's it? Guru Dutt.
Yeah, Guru Dutt. Yeah.
Yeah. But the
Uh,
new ones, I'll just because you said so, I'll try them out.
yeah, just give it a try. I mean,
Sure.
they. I've also noticed that in, especially in South Indian cinema,
Mhm.
they've been following the story structure is very. I mean, it's been there since the Ramayana. So
Mm.
it,
Mm.
I'm
I
looking
think
up
that's the way.
Rajnikant right now because it sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Some of his films are available online.
Yeah.
No.
I think Netflix in the Philippines, Netflix has 2.0, which
Ah.
is, it's a really silly turn off your brain, you know. That's the usual kind of movie he does. But if you watch his collaborations with, um P.A. Ranjith, yan, Kaala, and he did another film with him called Kabali. So
Mm.
again, it's a gangster movie, it's full of bombastic action, a lot of turn off your brain moments, but it's still, there's still some kind of commentary under it. So
Mm.
yeah, if you can
Okay.
see it,
So
go.
what's your favorite Ranjit film?
Probably Kala is my favorite Ranjit
Oh,
film.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
wow.
Yeah, good. Enjoy.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Uh,
watched that film in, because the Indian expat community,
mm.
they they hold screenings here in the Philippines. I watched this film in Walter Mart in Makati.
Wow.
With
Hmm.
us, the crowd was an Indian crowd, especially those with like superstars like Rajinikanth. They're like, it's like a party. They're noisy. They're screaming every time he's on the screen. They're
Mm.
whistling very loud. It's
Mm-mm.
it's really a fun feeling if you guys get to see, a screening held by the Indian community.
Yeah, they've
Okay.
done it before. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I love it.
They do
So
it in
nice.
Washington, D.C. also.
Mm.
Wow.
Hmm. So,
I noticed what's good about Indian films, or whether it's from South or from the Bollywood, is that they really do a lot of unique films, like from no-brainers to very political ones, no?
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, they ran the gamut. A lot of people think that, Indian films are just, dancing musicals, but there's what do you call this? There's a type of cinema that they do that's
Mm-hmm.
that's very, more social realism, more, grounded. No,
Satyajit Ray.
yeah, Satyajit Ray, exactly. And, like, I think I mentioned it in a previous episode. I watched, one such film on Netflix. It's called Sony, Soni. Yeah, that film has no music, no songs. It's just
Mhm.
it's a I guess it's a feminist drama about women in Indian society. So yeah, their cinema is just as diverse as ours, I think.
Thanks, John. How
Uh,
about you, Jim? What film are you do you champion or filmmaker or art actor or artist?
Mm, for me, filmmaker, si Direk Irene Villamor.
Mm,
Mm,
okay.
mm. Maybe kasi dahil we talked to her twice, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
We invited her in our podcast. So I was able to get yung insights or kung paano yung process niya in making films. And
Mm-hmm.
I find yung mga characters niya in films na relatable. Although the genre kasi 'di ba na romance sa ginagawa niya is not the usual rom-com. It's when we discussed it before, it's anti-romance pa nga.
Mm,
Ayun. So yun, si Direk Irene and especially dahil na rin sa women director siya, 'di ba? And
Mm-hmm.
luckily here in Philippines, maraming opportunity for women directors. And isa siya doon sa nabigyan ng opportunity. Yun.
Mm-hmm. Tsaka magaling siya kasi she knows the ins and outs of making a film and she's very critical of it as well, no?
Yes.
mm.
you have a favorite?
So far, my favorite Irene Villamor film is Sid and Aya, not a love story.
Ah, okay.
And she admitted naman when we interviewed her, 'di ba? Kasi na yung character ni Ann Curtis was drawn or
She got
sorry
it
may dumang
from
sasakyan. She got it from Comrades Almost a Love Story. Kaya
Comrades.
nung
Yeah.
yeah, Comrades Almost a Love Story. So nung nagka-chikahan kami, okay, kaya pala nakikita ko yung character ni Ann Curtis with Maggie Cheung's character in Comrades Almost a Love Story. Yan.
All right. So I guess that's it, guys. Any final words before we close the? Oh, Cess is gone. Maybe I guess we'll be talking to her through chat or something. There's her voice there. She has a Cess. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Hello. Yeah.
Hello? What
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe you disconnected
Ayan,
something. Yeah.
there you go.
So, any last words, guys, before we end this? We end this our episode today.
Ba, share na niya kung sino yung sina-champion niyang filmmaker or actor or film?
Sino?
Na-share mo na ba?
Ses, na-share mo na yung sa'yo?
Yeah,
Ay.
ikaw naman.
Oo nga.
I'm shy. Hindi, pero siguro if I'm going to be educating like other people to watch films, I always go to Hitchcock kasi I have a lot
Mhm.
of books about him and Kubrick, of course.
Kubrick,
Very,
yeah.
very
One of the greats.
madami akong alam tungkol sa kanila. Yun. Especially Hitchcock kasi he's very technical. So although he's not hindi ko siya gusto in a way that he handles women. Pero alam mo yun, parang for me it's like an antidote to how female directors or aspiring female critics should look at film the way that these two actually make films. So, yun. Yun lang.
Is it Hitchcock? You don't like the way he treated like Tippi Hedren, or
P. Hendren,
the way
yeah.
he treated characters in his films?
Oh.
I think just the backstory of it. But the way that he puts females or women sometimes sa film, sa akin it's okay. Kasi it's how he actually positions the fear of the way humans think, parang ganun. So sa akin my only problem is yung behind the scenes na portion. Pero when watching
Mm.
his films, I understand. Ah, okay. He made the voyeurism famous because he wanted to show that people are voyeuristic. We're all curious to know what happens in ins and outs of people.
But don't you think there's like maybe not feminist, but a very sympathetic look at the point of view of the woman in like suspicion with
John Fontaine.
Fontaine,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
John Fontaine.
Notorious with Ingrid Bergman, and Janet Leigh in the first half of Psycho.
Actually, Talula Banquet in Lifeboat.
And yeah,
I
what's
mean,
that?
Talula Banquet in Lifeboat.
Yes, Tallulah Bankhead in Lifeboat, yes. But if you want like the point of view of the woman, very much like Janet Leigh in Psycho.
Janet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Tippi Hedren in Marnie.
Mar, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question? Was it if I understood how sympathetic the females' roles were, or like how?
Don't you think, yeah, there's a feminist or at least sympathetic to female element in Hitchcock's films, and maybe not all, but some of those films,
Oh yeah,
Marnie,
I
Psycho.
think it was his view of the female point of view changed, like from Rope to Marnie. Kasi in
Hmm.
Rope, he portrayed the female there as the usual melodramatic kontrabida.
Hmm.
Versus in Marnie, the female had this kind of power. So it's like for me, his journey to finding that, although he was more criticized for being voyeuristic or very uh, creepy in a sense, though.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
for me, I think his journey was because he wanted to understand. Was it just more about the female, or what's more to the female form than just their bodies, but how they thought, how they think? So, ayun. That's why I
So,
guess I
yeah.
consider him one of my favorites because of that.
Kumbaga, like Hitchcock, like a great artist, the answer's never simple, di ba?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
very.
Sounds
Like
good.
I've read 3 books about the birds,
Yeah.
and my only conclusion to his answers to it was that he considered um horror or thriller as a ticking time bomb. So like it's how
Yeah.
you place the time bomb underneath the table and how you actually frame it. So yun.
Bird is also my favorite. And one reason why is most of his other movies, the bad guy, the evil element's always human. Some guy, they might pretend it's not supernatural like in Psycho, but in the end, it turns out it's human, right? But in the birds,
Mm,
it's not human. It's the only
yeah.
one film
Yeah.
that might be called supernatural,
Mm-mm. And
if not
he
science fiction.
actually turned a very lame short novel about farmers to something else with the birds.
Actually, I told you I have a day job right here.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
actually taught the kids the short story Daphne du Maurier, The
Yeah.
Birds,
Oh,
Mm-mm.
and then I showed them the film after, and compared the differences.
Mm.
Nice. Nice. Interesting.
What was their reception to it?
They liked the film better. They
Okay.
hated the ending. Then explain why you hate the ending. I think it's a very natural thing to hate the ending
mhm,
because
Yes.
it's one of the darkest in all of Hitchcock.
Yeah.
mhm.
Right. But that would be my favorite
Painted.
Hitchcock. The Birds.
Mm.
Right.
The last one.
Yeah.
Okay. So
All right.
um yeah, I'm good.
So okay. So that's it, guys. Sir Noel, thank you so much for joining us and
So thank you
sharing
for
Yes,
your
thank you
having me.
very much.
sharing your
Nice,
insight.
Thank you so
nice
much.
meeting you.
Do you have any last words for any aspiring film critics or film
Filmmaker.
enthusiasts out
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, film critics, film writers are the bottom of the food chain. There's the director, the producer above all, the director, the star, the writer, and near the bottom is the film critic. That's what they say. What's that? Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Anton Egon has a speech na the critics' best writings are nothing compared to the artist's most clumsy or inept efforts. That's bullshit. Don't believe that. At our best, we can do art in our own way.
Yeah.
Art in the essay form.
I agree.
So yeah, keep the faith, keep writing, and thanks for all your input. I'm noting down Irene Villamor and Ranji
Yeah.
Chipping, and hope I'll see more stuff from them. And
Yes.
Hitchcock, well, I know him, so I'll keep watching his films. Absolutely. And thank
Yeah.
you very much for listening. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
thank you
You.
again, guys. And until next time,
Yes.
we will see you
Thank
guys.
Okay.
Bye.
thank
Bye.
you.
You.